Welcome back to KUTV News at 8. Discussion is about countering violent extremism. And today I'm joined by young people. Aurelia are the Ambo Regional Peace Program participant at Arigato International, and Juma Salim Juma is a grassroots PCVA actor and also Executive Director, Kamukunji Community Peace Network. Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to KUTV News at 8.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm humble.
Yeah, really glad to have you guys. You know, you guys are young. And I keep on watching a lot of clips on social media because majority of young people use social media. And what is really concerning is that the Dusit attack, all kind of terror attacks, are normally committed by young people. I've never seen somebody in their 40s doing anything. It's 35 and below. First of all, just bring me up to date. Let us get our definitions right. You know, countering violent extremism. What is that? What is violent extremism?
Violent extremism is any ideology that is taken to an extreme end, like any belief that one has that is taken to an extreme end that causes harm to another. That is violent extremism.
So you have taken your belief and
ideologies
you've
and
pushed it.
beliefs that you pushed it so far that now it's starting to become a harm or a danger to those around you.
No, all right. Juma, you know, majority of Al-Shabaab, and even after the particular terror attack last Tuesday, exactly a week ago, there was a Muslim family, a Muslim old man who lost two of his sons right there. And one of the issues that he spoke about as he was being asked about this particular incident, he said that you shouldn't put Islam and this kind of terror activities on one plate. You are a practicing Muslim, yeah? Where do this, you know, where is this extremism? Just create for us a line so that we get a clear picture.
You know, we have this quote or motto that we use when we are doing PCV action in the community. In Swahili, it says, ugaidi ni ugaidi, sio dini wala kabila. So terrorism is just terrorism. There's no religion that is associated with it. There's no ethnicity. Because looking at all these incidences, you will see Muslims being killed. You will see Christians being killed. Looking at the global affairs around violent extremism, you will realize that the attacks doesn't discriminate. It affects every faith. It affects every ethnic communities, and I think it's a matter of, it's just a terrorist organization. They are just a terrorist network that are aimed at forcing ideologies to others. Yeah, use of force.
Furthermore, you'd find that terrorism is based on misinterpretation of scriptures.
Yes.
Whether it's Islamic, Christian, because all these scriptures have verses that if we take out of context can be used or exploited to create a totally different meaning. So terrorists take advantage of that. They say that, you know what, God has sent us to kill these people don't believe in our faith, they are kafiris, they are libels, they are just out.
Yes.
So they use that, taking the scriptures out of context completely and exploiting that to commit their violent activities.
Talking about the scriptures, I think most of these people, these terrorist organizations, they are misquoting religious texts. And looking at these texts, most of the texts are coming from the Abrahamic faiths.
Yes.
And the Abrahamic faiths in Islam, they are called the Ahlul Kitab, the people of the book. And the message of all these books, the Injil, which is the Bible, the Quran, all these books, they have one message, which is to promote peaceful coexistence, which is to embrace each other, to live together as human beings and promotes humanity. So whatever these people are doing is just to cause disintegration, divisions among human beings.
Okay. Now let's take a look at the status quo, because this particular issue, you say that violent extremism, you're taking, you know, your beliefs way too far.
Yes.
Now the status quo right now, what might be pushing young people to go into such settings?
There are various push and pull factors that influence youth to join terrorist organizations and engage in violent extremism. Number one, I'd say economic factors. Poverty and unemployment being the One, a really big cause. You'd find like a youth is more vulnerable and susceptible to join a violent extremist organization when they are desperate. They don't have employment, they don't have money, they don't have an access, they don't have a way to...
They are desperate.
Yeah, they are desperate. They can't fulfill their own needs. So when a leeway comes such that, oh, come join us, you'll be able to join, you'll go to paradise, we'll be able to cater for your needs. So the youth is desperate. So he or she is more vulnerable, and it's easier to join the violent extremist groups because they have lots of promises. And that's the basis of a terrorist group. Lots of promises. Join us, you'll do this, you'll go to heaven, you'll have paradise, all these things. So an economic factor, this is a very big reason.
Yes.
It's a very big factor as to why a youth would choose to join a terrorist group.
Yeah, in addition to what she said, I think there are socio-economic factors, and one of them is most of our youths, especially in the Nairobi's informal settlements and some remote counties like Wajir, Garissa, Isiolo, Marsabit, and some parts of course like Mombasa, Kilifi, Lamu, Kwale. Those areas, you realize that most of these young people are hopeless, and they're not always engaged in decision-making processes. But I think this is one of the major issues, and also there are no friendly law enforcement officers and police engagements, and this makes these people very bitter, and they being vulnerable to recruitment to terrorist organization and armed gangs, because most of them, they are living below $1 a day. You find like a family that is maybe at a very extreme poverty level. They are not able to afford the 3 proper meals, the balanced diet. Realize that these people are spotted by recruiters. They are being swayed and lured into terrorist organization by being provided with food stuff. So it becomes easy for them to be swayed and taken to terrorist organization. Plus also there are cases whereby you realize that there are no sustainable youth projects, economic projects, even women projects. So you realize that most of these people are frustrated with life, and they are lacking hope. So if you lack hope, you are like a living dead. You can be used for anything. And there are several research missions that prove that a Kenyan youth can do anything for money. So you can...
Quite unfortunate. Money plays a huge role in our society today, and there is so much pressure, especially amongst young people, because with so much competition and limited resources, we are forced to mature even faster. And you're pressured to provide for your family, and you know there are limited opportunities. So my question to you is, since some people might fall prey to this, and you know, now, if there is there an opportunity to de-radicalize? Because how can that be done?
There's this National Counterterrorism Center, the government initiative, which is doing tremendous work. They have looking at the National Counterterrorism Strategy. They have pillars of rehabilitation of these people who have been through this radicalization. They have pillars of capacity building. They have pillars of trauma healing, and there are several non-governmental organizations that are doing tremendous work, like Arigato
International,
the Niwetu program,
programs on countering violent extremism. I believe awareness is the primary method of countering violent extremism, because many youths are simply not aware. You're simply not equipped with the necessary knowledge and the skills to counter violent extremism. So awareness, creating awareness through knowledge, through information, and through engagements with other youths, I believe that's a very effective way of countering violent extremism.
And also counter narratives and proper parenthood, because most of these young people are vulnerable to violent extremism and recruitment because of lack of proper parenthood. You realize that they are telltales, they are signs there are early warning signs
Yes.
that these people, whenever they are being radicalized, they start saying this is haram,
Yeah.
this is prohibited, this is a taboo.
Yeah.
They have a lot of that in their
Language,
talking.
in their demeanor, in their mannerisms.
Yes.
But their parents, if their parents are not present in their lives, they
Or
are busy
even able
doing
to
business
spot
or jobs. They are not able to detect those changes.
So it's a whole, it's an overall societal issue, because
Yes.
even when we speak about pressure to the youth to be able to get jobs and whatnot, we are not leaving behind parents, because every day parents have to work harder, and this coming at a cost where you don't have to spend so much time with your children. Sometimes you don't always raising. Some people are being raised by house helps, so some things can be changing, but you're not very aware.
Exactly.
And you spoke something earlier about the telltale signs. That is one of them he mentioned. The wordings. Are there some of these telltale signs that you could just outline for us, that a parent can be on the outlook, or even a normal mwananchi to tell, like, this is not going the right place?
Yes, there's the segregationists. You'd find most of the time a terrorist is segregationist. We versus them, you versus I.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they tend, like, if a person was normally very sociable and always, you'd find that he's starting less and less.
Even a good example is this flag. You'll realize that most of the young people who are already radicalized, they'll be saying, you are a kafir. You're like you are with them.
Well.
You are with them. So
So
it's like they are promoting non-patriotism.
Yes.
Which is which,
division.
if you don't love your country, you can harm your country. So this is one of the signs. And also people young people talking about grievances, their frustration with the government, their negativity they have negative perception about the government, about all the positive things the government has done. And also issues of identity.
Yes.
Most of the young people are looking for the sense of identity, the sense of belonging.
Yes.
So you realize that if they are not given a platform like this one to share or to talk about their issues, how they feel about their future, so you realize that they are prone to be given maybe an adventurous platform, like being in a Somalia background in an ocean, carrying the magazine and all those things. So those things are really powerful. They are really appealing to young people.
Another telltale sign, you'd find that they take, if let's say I was a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'd start being very extreme with my religion. Like, if let's say using by the Abrahamic faith or the Old Testament, that they have very strict laws, like you should not eat this, then they take it very literally, very literal interpretation of the scriptures, sometimes taking it too extreme.
Yes.
That's also a telltale sign. Yeah.
So you should be very careful of those telltale signs. And
Yes.
after you recognize such signs, then there should be means. You've just spoken about deradicalization, but from a normal Kenyan perspective, I've noted some of these signs. This guy hates my flag. This guy is way too crude on our nation. What should I do? Should I report to the police? Apart from the policy that you've mentioned, from a personal perspective, because this might be a friend, this might be a colleague, this might be a classmate or a schoolmate. What am I supposed to do?
There are different levels or degrees of radicalization. There is one who's too radicalized, and there's one who's just like a beginner who's starting. It depends with your circumstance. Let's say if it's a close friend and you know their social influence, maybe you can talk to their priest, the clergy, or the imam. If it's a Muslim, you can talk to the parents. If it's too extreme, you can engage.
Yeah. In addition to what she has said, there are vulnerability factors, and one of the factors is they are misquoting religious verses. There are also other factors like poverty and these other issues of lack of patriotism. So you can refer them to places where they can get assistance. For example, if they are complaining about poverty, kusota,
Yes.
they can you can advise them to go to the Uwezo Fund, to the Youth Fund, the government provisions. There are at least some positive processes that the government is at least trying so that they can benefit. So, and about the signs, as she said, you can maybe talk to a sheikh. There are also powerful women out there, powerful young people who are doing tremendous work. There are also people who are accepted and are influential in the community. You can spot them. They are also human rights defenders. You can also approach them and tell them, I'm detecting some weird character in a certain person. If you can help in maybe
it could
help in behavior change.
There are very many grassroots organizations and non-governmental organizations that deal with violent extremism, as I've said, like Arigato International. You'd also find they have other programs like Brave. They are everywhere. So it's easy to get help.
Yes.
Through you can just walk into any of their offices. Yeah, I'm sure
there's
they'll be glad.
Kumekucha Trauma Healing Project,
Yes.
Kamkunji Community Peace Network is doing peace
and
building, several.
So there are a lot of projects on the ground to help deal with this particular issue.
Exactly.
And,
CTC.
and I hope that it's not just limited to some particular parts of this country. Of course, there are those, like the coastal part of Kenya has been really marked hotspots. But, you know, we are devolving. Now, even as we close up, because we don't have much time, tell me, how Kenyans can join into this movement of, you know, making sure that we're countering violent extremism, starting with you.
First of all, Kenyans need to be patriotic. We need to love our country first. Because if we destroy our country, there's no any other Kenya outside there. Yes. We only have Kenya. So we need to protect Kenya. And if you want to join this movement, there are many of them around the communities. Like there's Kamkunji Community Peace Network. In your neighborhood, there are also initiatives, there are community-based organizations, there are religious institutions and organizations, churches, mosques, and human rights organizations. There are also online initiatives like Reclaiming Our Allahu Akbar, which has also always been misused by the terrorist organization. If you hear Allahu Akbar, people think it's bomb. So we need to reclaim, because Allahu Akbar means God is great. So we need to reclaim that and use it correctly and differentiate terrorism and Islam, because these people are misquoting a lot of verses. But there are also many positive verses in the Quran that promotes tolerance, coexistence, and living together as people of God.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. A lot of organizations. How about you?
As Kenyans, I would say unity as the first thing, because terrorism is about division, it's about fear, it's about the constant the fear, instilling fear in people, creating this unity and division. That is my first point. But I'd also say we also need to work as a country to create better economic conditions for our youths, for our future generations, because this is a very pressing issue. Many youths are unemployed, they are jobless. Many are turning to these things as a result of desperation. So if we can alleviate our economic conditions, maybe by improving the infrastructure, giving more opportunities to youth, creating an environment where businesses can thrive, then the attention of youth will be diverted from things such as violent extremism and terrorism to the growth and development of our economy. Because when we talk about de-radicalization, the next question will be, what next? Yes, now I was a terrorist, now I am a normal citizen, now I'm okay, what next? I still need to survive. So we have a lot of groundwork to do as Kenyans, and we need to work together to attain this. But
that's amazing.
And about the young people, not seeing them as the problem, but as people who are preventing and improving security in Kenya.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm glad that young people are very passionate about this topic and they yearn to make things right. And I'm glad you are young people who are on course to making sure that we're countering violent extremism. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the best. Let Kenya pick up this wave of noting and countering violent extremism. All right?
Thank
you
you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Thank you very much. And there you have it. That was Aurelia, the Ambo Regional Peace Program participant, Arigato International, and Juma Salim Juma, who is the Executive Director of Kamukunji Community Peace Network and also a grassroots PCVE actor. And on that note, of course, I hope that you've learned something, the telltale signs, and at the same time, what we need to do to counter violent extremism. On this particular note, we take a short break. When we come back, we delve into the world of sports.